morning and thanks for joining us on the news on NTA International. I am Elizabeth Omori and our sign language interpreter is Josiah Abdullahi. Now the headlines. Muslims around the world celebrate Eid al-Kabir. President Bola Tinubu enjoins Nigerians to imbibe blessings of sacrifice, love and nation building taught at Salah. Plus, voices echoing support of children's policies on occasion of Children's Day. Now the news. President Bola Tinubu enjoins Nigerians, particularly Muslims, to carry on the lessons of sacrifice taught by the Salah and be obedient to the rule of law towards a more peaceful and prosperous nation. The president spoke after the Eid prayer at Edom Barracks in Lagos. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, his deputy Obafemi Hamzat, former governor Raji Fashola, the National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu, and other dignitaries joined the president at the Eid. The Grand Chief Imam of Lagos, Sheikh Abdullahi Sulaiman Oluwatoyin Abunola, admonished Muslim faithful to imbibe the lessons of Eid al-Kabir, which teaches piety, obedience and trust in God.
But the piety from you gets to Allah. So do we subject them to you, that you may glorify Allah for that in which He has guided you.
To stand in prayer, President Tinubu gave his Salah message.
Another learn from the lessons of this season, and is showing love to one another, no discrimination, no ethnicity, no hatred, and we should share love and be generous to one another in a way that will reflect the value of our country and the humanity in us. It is essential that we be very tolerant, be obedient to the wish of Allah, and obedient to the rule of law, which must guide our society.
They also advised Nigerians against violent ideologies of enemies of the states.
Nowhere in the holy teaching that you should engage in banditry. Nowhere that you should kill another human being. The sacrifice we are talking about, even in the beginning of life, where we take this from, a child was replaced with animal. And that is what the value of life is all about.
Meanwhile, Vice President Kashim Shettima was among Muslims that observed the Eid al-Adha prayer held at the Ramat Square in Maiduguri, Borno State capital, with large turnout of worshippers and tight security. The Vice President called on Nigerians to embrace national unity, peaceful coexistence and collective sacrifice as the nation continues on the path of sustainable development. State House correspondent Abrahman Jibrila reports.
At the Ramat Square Eid ground in Maiduguri, Shettima Mamman Saleh, the Imam Ideni of Borno, led the 2 rakat prayers. The Imam, during his sermon, reiterated the need for more prayers for peaceful coexistence towards our common security and other challenges facing the nation. Vice Vice President Kashim Shettima, after the prayers, emphasized the need for all Nigerians to understand what binds them together suffices whatever divides.
Our message to Nigerians is to continue praying for peace and for mutual coexistence amongst all Nigerians. And as we enter the political phase, there is a need for maturity, for forbearance, and for generosity of spirit in our political interactions. Most importantly, what binds us together surpasses whatever that divides us. The world itself is in turmoil occasioned by the war in the Middle East. The cost of living indices globally has risen. I wish to call on Nigerians to exercise patience and tolerance. Governments at all levels are poised to ameliorate the sufferings of the Nigerian people. Let there be peace in the land. And let's pray for peace not only in Borno, but in all the nooks and crannies of this country, in the Sahel zone of West Africa, and in the world at large.
The Vice President later received Borno State delegation at his residence, accompanied by the Borno State Deputy Governor, Umar Usman Kadafur, and other prominent Borno elders.
Happy Salah on behalf of His Excellency the Governor. I want to thank you for the support that you have been rendering and giving to the Borno State government and the government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I want to call upon all the entire citizens of Borno State that we should continue praying for the nation and the state. We should continue praying for peace and prosperity. We have had a very peaceful Salah, so may Allah continue giving us a peaceful more Salahs ahead.
Prayers were offered as the Vice President said the federal government remains resolute in restoring peace and security across the country, while commending the sacrifices of members of the armed forces and security agencies. From Maiduguri, Abraham Jibrila, NTA News.
Still on the season, the crescent moon ushers in another Eid al-Kabir, but in a year defined by economic recalibration, the act of giving has taken on a deep and more profound meaning. In this report, Sheikh Mohammed Dart explores how the spirit of Abrahamic sacrifice is manifesting not just in the markets, but in the hearts of the people.
Eid al-Kabir, also known as the Festival of Sacrifice, is a significant celebration in the Islamic calendar, marking the culmination of the Hajj pilgrimage to Mecca. It commemorates Prophet Ibrahim's willingness to sacrifice his son Ismail as an act of obedience to Allah's command, embodying the values of faith, devotion, and sacrifice.
Because apart from this obedience, it is also about relationship between you and your God, relationship between you and your father, relationship between you and your children, relationship between you and your wife, and relationship between the wife and the husband, and also the children, and between Almighty Allah. It is an interwoven relationship of which Eid al-Adha signifies.
Now, after Allah Ta'ala ransomed him with a ram from the heaven, that became a global sunnah now,
which is one of the most rewarding work that a Muslim can do. That is why Islam deny anyone to sacrifice any animal in the name of anything or anyone. You have to do it in the name of Allah.
Muslims gather at Eid praying grounds for congregational prayers, followed by the spiritual slaughter of sacrificial animals such as goats, sheep, cattle, and camels. The meat is then distributed among family, friends, and the less privileged in the community.
You find that the period has unified all of us in terms of this act of ibadah, and then the care, show of love.
But in another verse, Allah says, He's not interested in the blood, nor in the meat, but is only interested in your fear at your heart. So the meaning is that no matter how big your animal is, no matter how small your animal is, No matter how rich you are able to afford anything, Allah said all those things do not get to him. You see the way those animals are waiting for you to slaughter them. They could have run away, they could have done anything, but they didn't do that. But they waited. And you should also realize that a day will be a day that Allah is going to judge you the way you are judging those animals on the day of Qiyamah.
That is, it is the activity of the same 10 days of Dhul Hijjah, which Allah used to multiply reward for anyone that stand firmly and do what Allah enjoyed him to do at that time.
Eid al-Kabir is a time of social gatherings, festive meals, and charitable acts, fostering a sense of community and compassion. In Abuja, Show Muhammad Datti, NTA News.
Thank you, Mohammed. Now, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, encourages Nigerians to use this period of Eid al-Kabir to extend love and support to the less privileged, promote peaceful coexistence, and strengthen the spirit of national unity, irrespective of ethnic, religious, or political differences. As Nigerians celebrate this, families and loved ones, the government spokesman urges citizens to continue to pray for the peace, stability, and progress of the country. In a statement, the minister says the administration of President Bola Tinubu remains committed to delivering the renewed hope agenda and building a more secure, prosperous, and inclusive Nigeria for all. The sacred festival, he adds, reminds faithful of the timeless virtues of faith, sacrifice, obedience, compassion, and devotion to the will of Almighty Allah, as demonstrated at Prophet Ibrahim, as a season that calls for reflection, unity, tolerance, and renewed commitment to the values that bind citizens together as one nation. Similarly, Director General of the Nigerian Technical Aid Corps, Dr. Yusuf Buba Yakub, felicitates with all Muslims across Nigeria and beyond as they celebrate Eid al-Kabir. In a statement, Dr. Buba said this sacred occasion reminds us of the virtues of sacrifice, obedience, faith, and compassion, values that lie at the heart of nation building and service to humanity. As we commemorate the event, may we all renew our commitment to selflessness, unity, and the pursuit of peace in our communities and our dear nation. At NTAC, more than ever before, and in keeping with the foreign policy components of our dear President's renewed hope agenda, we remain dedicated to advancing Nigeria's South-South cooperation and technical assistance programs guided by the same spirit of service and sacrifice that the season represents, the statement adds. And as Muslim faithful across Nigeria celebrate Eid al-Kabir, the Inspector General of Police, Olatunji Disu, orders enhanced security deployments nationwide to ensure peaceful and hate-free celebration. A statement by the Police High Command says tactical teams, intelligence operations, and operatives and conventional police personnel have been strategically deployed to Eid prayer grounds, highways, motor parks, recreational centers, and other public places across the country. Authorities say visible policing, coordinated patrols, stop and search operations, and intelligence-led surveillance have also been intensified to deter criminal activities and protect lives, property as well during the festive period. The force says citizens must embrace the "if you see something, say something" campaign, stressing that timely information from members of the public could help prevent security breaches. Now, it is Eid al-Kabir celebration, a time of tranquility, sharing and harmony. Also a time when many are reminded of the blessings that come with the season. To demonstrate commitment of the present administration to the vulnerable groups across the country, the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, Delu Bolus Yakubu, distributed packages of meat to residents of Karo Area Council of the FCT. Ruth Aguele was there.
It's a special day for Muslims all over the world, and the Sir Sakari Palace in Karo local government area in the Federal Capital Territory beams hope as women in their numbers gather in anticipation for a gesture that will ignite that hope. The Senior Special Assistant to the President on Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction has come on a solidarity visit in the spirit of the Salah celebration. In appreciation, His Royal Highness Joseph Damfulani Nare, the Sir Sakari of Karo, appreciated the commitment of the federal government in recognizing the needs of the people. The gesture is in partnership with a non-governmental organization in demonstration of commitment in meeting the plights of vulnerable groups across the country.
I'm calling on other Nigerians, as we're celebrating Eid al-Kabir, we should remember the less privileged, for them to be part of it and to get sense of belonging, to continue praying for our leaders and this nation for stability and peace in our dear country.
Try to at least relieve the sufferings of people by giving them something, especially in these festive seasons, to at least help them celebrate like other people.
I cannot afford to buy a ram, so I am grateful for this gesture.
Nigerians are urged to use the festive season to pray for the peace and prosperity of the country while embracing the spirit of sacrifice and unity amongst one another. In Abuja, Ruth Aguwele, NTA News.
You're still watching the news on NTA International. More on Salah reports when they're with us. It was a joyous moment for widows, orphans and vulnerable families at the Durumi IDP camp in Abuja as they had reason to celebrate Eid al-Kabir with a smile on their faces. In keeping with the tellings of sacrifice, love and sharing with the Eid al-Kabir, as it exemplifies, IBD, the National Progressive Forum, took food, household items, clothes and gift items to the camp to celebrate with underprivileged, giving them hope and happiness at this period of Salah celebration.
To also share in the season of Ileya, which is the Salah, and we are here to share some welfare packages with the masses to show that we care about them. We want to share and want to celebrate with them so that they can also have something to celebrate the Salah with.
It has been long that we did not receive a kind of donation to Durumi Area 1 IDP camp. I want to tell Nigerians that IDPs are not a slave in their countries. There are some widows, children, orphans in IDPs.
Now let's shift our attention to the Nigerian child. The gift of a child in every home is welcomed with great joy and celebration. In Nigeria, policies and laws on children's rights, protection and welfare dominate discussions and government's agenda. Sophia Nyoma Uche takes a look at the Nigerian child, prospects, challenges and recreation as the world commemorates Children's Day.
The birth of a child overwhelms the family and community. It symbolizes continuity. Aside the immediate family, a child grows carrying so much prospects and expectations of his or her family, the community as well as the nation. It is against this backdrop that the International Children's Day is celebrated every year to honor the children and to tell them how important their growth means to the world. In Nigeria, children enjoy subsidized education, healthcare, social protection laws.
A healthy child is the foundation of our future. And here in the Federal Capital Territory, the government is stepping up. Immunization is free and it's a legal right.
As Nigeria joins the rest of the world to commemorate this year's event, closer attention is being canvassed on the challenges facing the children, such as hawking, out of school, child labor, and insecurity.
We all have to contribute, both as government entities and non-government entities, individuals, from mothers, fathers, and parents. We join hands to make sure children are brought up in the way they should grow to contribute not only to the family, but to the unit.
With this year's theme, Future Now, promoting inclusion for every child, it is important to note that every child is a potential leader, economist, scientist, footballer, musician, whatever they choose to become. It is therefore important and the duty of everyone to ensure their safe, quality growth. Sophia Nyoma Uche, NTA News.
And joining us now in the studio to speak more on the day is the President, International Women Federation of Commerce and Industry, Nigeria, Dr. Cynthia Eduji, a child rights and empowerment advocate, to shed more light. Doctor, thank you so much for joining us on the news.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. Now let's begin the conversation with your thoughts on the state of the Nigerian child.
Wow, this is pretty amazing. It's an amazing topic. Thank you so much for inviting me. When it comes to a child is the future of a country. So a Nigerian child is the future of Nigeria. Nigeria is blessed. In fact, Nigeria is the most populated child nation in the world. And that is one thing that the government should harness. But I would say the state of a Nigerian child right now, I wouldn't say it's the best. Because of the situation, because of lack of education, malnutrition, you tend to see the child, instead of driving the child to the class, they are being driven to the street. So that is why International Women's Federation of Commerce and Industry decided to do a mentorship program whereby we teach the schools and people on the importance of aligning children's desires to their focus or their future desires. So if the government work on the aspect of education, we could see how a child can be taken off the street and being brought into the classroom.
All right. Now let's talk about the theme of this year's celebration, which centers on building inclusivity for children. How do we use skills development initiatives to help our children build a future for our children?
Thank you once more. Now, when it comes to inclusivity, it's very important for us to get skills that's in line with their knowledge. In order for them to actually acquire the skills, they need the skills for them to grow in the future. Now, for instance, this is not just the responsibility of just the government. No, the government is there, non-governmental organizations are there, CSOs are there to actually harness these children, include them in skills acquisition, let there be not just going to school to learn, but bringing skills that these children can learn while they're in schools, and so that when they come out into the society, they could be included into the society. You can imagine a child is going to be studying what is not visible in your society, in the economy. It's not practical. So it's hard time for us to make practical decisions by making skills that are practical and included in this country. So when the child leaves the school, the child sees something he or she is already used to and be able to, that leads to productivity in the country. So inclusivity has to do with skills. So we get skills that are included in the curriculum. So it's not about just going to school to learn. No, but getting something like, okay, I want to study this and I have a technical part. So I have this technical skills even while leaving the school. So these are a couple of things that can actually be included.
All right, let me come in there. Your organization has been doing so much for the Nigerian child. So what are the challenges to face and how can we help these children surmount these challenges?
Thank you so much. I am really happy with this question. Why? Because we witness firsthand these challenges. You can imagine you're going to school and you want to communicate to your child and you tell the child what is your innermost desire, and the child tells you, I love photography, and the child comes up and tell you that my mom said I should become a doctor, but I love photography. So why not actually align that child's desire to become a photographer, which would, in fact, it's going to be something that child loves, right? But because of what the parents want, the child is being deviated from what his or her passion is to what the parents want. So that is one problem we had. We also saw the fact that a lot of them can't even pay their fees, so it's like they're out of schools. Yeah, so how can you go to school when you cannot pay your fees? It's pretty a little bit difficult for them. And some of them even say, okay, if we had paid fees, we can do other things in school. So these are a couple of things that we actually witness. But mentorship, so that's why we actually included mentorship. So what we did was not just going to school to give what we were given, but we actually decided to include the mentorship into it. So that's why we started this mentorship program, which we are already doing within a period of of time
All
for
right.
the FCT schools.
All right, Dr. Cynthia Iduja, I want to thank you so much for joining us on the news, and thank you so much for what you do for the Nigerian child.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
for
very
inviting
much.
Me. Thank you. Bye.
Moving on, the Nigerian government's strategic investment to ensure the country not only participates but leads in maritime innovation, safety and sustainability is yielding results as the nation's firmest maritime institution received 2 certifications in the International Organization for Standardization. Minister of Marine and Blue Economy Adegboyega Oyetola in a message confirmed that the feat is another demonstration of President Tinubu's interest in the sector. Clement Barikwi has details.
It is a landmark achievement, a celebration that confirms that Nigeria, through the Maritime Academy of Nigeria, ORON, is aligning with global best practices and standards. The Integrated Management System certification, comprising of ISO 9001-2015 and ISO 21001-2025, is awarded to Maritime Academy of Nigeria, ORON, to further enhance the credibility of Nigerian cadets in the international maritime domain.
The maritime industry is dynamic and highly regulated, requiring continuous innovations, professionalism, competence and compliance with international standards.
For the Federal Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy, government will continue to support initiatives that strengthen institutional standards and promote global competitiveness.
Sustaining these standards will require sustained efforts, discipline, and a firm commitment to continuous improvement.
Acting Rector, Maritime Academy of Nigeria, Oron, who also received an award as the most impactful maritime CEO in 2025, says Nigerian-trained seafarers remain globally competitive.
They also humbled by the consciousness of the fact that we have to maintain the system and continually improve the system.
This has given further strengthened the credibility and global competitiveness of our academy and enhances confidence in the quality of our graduates and services.
A tour of these facilities further showcases Nigeria's rich potential in maritime safety and education. Clement Barikui, NTA News.
And that's the news at this time on NTA International. Thank you so much for your time. I'm Elizabeth Omori, and our sign language interpreter is Josiah Abdullahi. Good evening.